raising the
Here we
roof.
go.
Yes, here we are. Shoko.
Hello.
It's so good to see you.
So
So
lovely to see you,
it's so
Meredith.
good to see you. I've been doing these LinkedIn Lives with all the Confidently Speaking members. And
Uh-huh.
here we are on a Friday. You're a Confidently Speaking member. And I'm just excited to give each one of the members an opportunity to share who they are,
Mhm.
what drew them to the group, attracted them to the group. And you and I, just before we got on this live together, we made a discovery, which was that you were the very first member
Woo.
of Confidently Speaking. And it's amazing. It really
It
is.
is
We
amazing.
met when I was teaching improv at the Pit here in New York City, which is the
Yes.
People's Improv Theater. And you were my student.
Yes.
And that was in 2018.
Yes.
And then the pandemic hit.
And then I suddenly, there's no reason whatsoever, but somehow, oh, I have to reach out that woman who the teacher at the Pit. I must. And then what I did, because I didn't remember your name, unfortunately, so I went back to my archive email because we have some communication through Pit. So I really went through all the email back a couple of years, and they find your name. And then how can I find her? And then I went back to LinkedIn and finding you.
There I was on LinkedIn. Who would have thought?
Exactly.
And it was right when I started Confidently Speaking, because I was thinking, I was like, okay, what am I going to do during this pandemic? I think it was the second year in. So it had to have been like 2020.
Yeah, 2020. Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So Confidently Speaking is almost 5 years old, and you've been in that community. And I know you, and the thing that's really beautiful about the community is that people will come in for a long period of time, and then they might leave for a while, and then they come
Coming back.
back.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's just been really fun, and yet it keeps growing, and then the people within the community know each other.
Exactly.
I feel so grateful. So I would love for you to just share with our viewers right now a little bit about who you are and
Sure.
who you serve.
Yes. Hi, everyone. My name is Shoko Masuda. I'm an executive coach and a leadership trainer and helping executives, particularly women and minority women, reach their goals with more ease and speed. So right now I'm working here in the US as well as back in Japan. And particularly in Japan, I'm helping executive women to get board ready. That's how we call it.
And your approach, I think, is really beautiful. You have such a great perspective because you've been in their shoes. You've worked in the corporate space. You used to work for Amex. And what I really admired about you, Shoko, is that you have noticed ways that you can empower women, especially women that come from different cultures, on how to speak up
Well,
in certain spaces. Do you want to speak into that a little bit?
sure. I think that exactly. The reason why I am now as a coach is exactly through that journey, because I always, I moved around a little bit. I studied in Tokyo, but then moved to Hong Kong and London, back to Tokyo, and then here in the US. And in most of the cases, I'm the only one, meaning is that either women or minority in the most of the cases. And it's very odd for for the beginning, that how should I show up and how I should speak up, because even now that there's a certain expectation that executive or leaders should have that loud voice, dominant presence kind of things. And I'm so far from that. And also, one of the reasons that I went to Pitt and met you is one of my speech coach at that time told me, Shoko, you should learn how to do improv. As a non-native speaker, I was very nervous, very self-conscious. Even now, I have to admit, speaking English, I have to be very conscious, very intentional, so that people understand me, but more importantly, and understand the environment.
Mm-hmm.
So, given that, it's a journey to learn, and particularly, I would say, to learn it's okay to be different.
Mm, beautiful. It is okay to be different because we don't want everyone to be the same.
Mm.
It's boring.
Indeed.
It's boring when everybody's the same. So tell me then, Shoko, in your role, helping people find their unique voice in the boardroom, how is it that you can coach them to give themselves the permission?
So, let me just think about it. The voice is really coming from who you are, right?
Yeah.
So we often call it, quote unquote, I put the air quotes, uh, authenticity. But
Yeah.
really going back to what matter to you, what your values are. So
Mm,
usually I ask my client, and I often give it that list of the values, the
mhm,
words like 50 or 60, and pick them, ask them pick what really matter to you,
mm,
those
mhm,
values. And then more importantly, that how you demonstrate that value in your actions and behaviors.
mhm, mhm,
So that's a starting point. They start thinking about who am I, how I behave, right? The most people through this exercise really bring their awareness much more into their intentional level or
mhm,
purposeful. Because often we do anything not quite thinking too much about it, right?
mhm, mhm.
Some people really naturally do, quote unquote, leadership competency. But
Right.
once you're aware, very intentionally, that creates a very different energy.
Mm,
That's what we
mhm,
call it, not doing, but being,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
And then after this, value exercise, I usually ask them, write it down that, what people may say working with you.
mhm,
And the second question would be, after a year or so, what people may say, what the impact they see working with you.
mhm,
So that's really helping them to see themselves, not their own point of view, but other people's point of view.
mhm. And I feel like too, what I'm hearing you say is that by understanding the values and understanding the perception that perhaps others have of you, and then where you are a year from now, is that you're helping people get really clear about how they're showing up now, and then the way that they can show up later. So you're giving them more of a path to follow.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
would also imagine too that when you get really clear about your values, which I do, I love looking at what I'm valuing because I do think they change too, right? With growth, they
Yeah.
change the things that you value.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but when there's someone that comes up and rubs up against that, and when you're clear, you kind of understand, oh, maybe this isn't me, or how can I shift gears, or maybe this isn't a position I need to be in, right? Like you can kind of like assess
Yeah.
the vibe in the room, if you know what I'm trying to
Oh,
say.
totally. Totally. And a value is always important. You know, I was going through the LinkedIn, my morning routine, right?
Uh-huh.
And I forgot his name. Oh, his name, I think Craig Wilkinson. I think I recently connected with him. He put such a post with he talking about Ken Schnolt, the former Amex CEO, a very successful guy, a highly respected guy, and he talking about how he operated on that 9/11. So what he said, just make that pause short. What he said is very short, and that in the breast crisis, you can't operate based according to manual.
Right.
You have to operate based on your value and empathy.
Mm.
And I think that's very true. And sometimes the people say, have you heard this kind of statement? People saying that, oh, the crisis time is a time that built your character. Have you heard that?
Yeah. Yes, I have. Yeah.
And that's such a lie.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
Because that crisis moment is the time that it reveals your character, not building. It's too late.
Oh, beautiful. It is too late in that moment. You got people's true colors shine through in the moment of crisis, I believe.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
Exactly.
it's kind of a muscle that you need to be developing
Oh,
throughout your life and the true colors shine through. That's a very good point.
exactly. Exactly.
Definitely.
Exactly. And I think, that's why I always go back to your confidential speaking improv training program.
Mhm.
The reason that I think it's incredibly important that spontaneity is another kind of muscle.
Oh, it definitely is to be able to adapt on the fly, but
Mhm.
to have that muscle worked, right? So it's just not adapting and being reactionary, two totally different things, I believe,
Totally.
right?
Totally. And this is one of the things is that when I do training, I always use one of the improv, warm up that you bring to.
Oh, good. I
I
love hearing that.
and particularly when I do the Japanese, the executive women,
Mhm.
you know, they always try to be right.
Mm.
So improv, it just, they just like,
It's difficult, right? And we see that even in the group for people who've been or pretty seasoned at it. Like you can see the wheels turning
right.
in these impromptu moments
Mhm,
because we do as human beings, and I would imagine culturally it varies, right? Because I know
mhm,
you've said to me in Japanese culture, there's this idea of perfectionism,
mhm.
right? So what happens is people automatically think that they're like right or wrong. They don't want to be wrong, but there's nothing to be wrong. There's no wrong
Exactly.
answer.
Uh,
We're
it-
making it up.
exactly. I think in that training, I really want them to take a bit of risk.
Yeah.
The one of the exercise that it's really funny is that you do some kind of the body movement,
Oh, yeah.
and then and then say your name, and then second person just memorize whatever they did and say their name and do their
Should
own.
we do it?
Of course.
Should we do it? And
Of
hi,
course.
Melanie. Good to see you. If people have questions too for us, you can throw those in the chat and we will respond to
Yeah.
you. But before we're gonna do a little we're gonna
Exercise.
show you an exercise that we do in the class. Are you ready? So I'm gonna invite you, Shoko. I want you to share with me your name and a gesture that best represents how you're feeling right now. All right, with
Okay.
your name. With your
Okay.
name. Okay. Are you ready? Go
Okay.
ahead. And
Okay.
I'll do it too. You go
Okay.
first though. Okay. And then I'm
Shoko.
going to repeat that back. Shoko. Excellent. Now I'll do mine. Meredith.
Then I do Shoko. Melody.
Yes.
So
Beautiful.
I do this in
Uh-huh.
that executive, women in in Japan. They're board ready people, so quite senior, and they're really frightened, and they're so like this. Oh, I have to remember. I have to remember. And I ask them after the exercise. So what happened if you forget? What happened when you forget? And then they said, oh, we just do it again. Or, oh, somebody helping me,
Yes.
right? So
Uh-huh.
it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a game. I told them it's a game, but everybody would just in the training setting, everybody tried to prove they are right.
Mhm.
You can really feel that energy, which is okay. But particularly in that culture,
Mhm.
you really have to a little bit loosen up. And I think that's the bit of the courage. I always say that you don't need confidence. You need a
Mm,
courage, because then you keep doing this and then you build muscle of confidence.
yes, the courage. You have to be courageous in order to take those first steps, and then once you take those steps, that's when the confidence starts to build. But you have to keep doing it. You have to keep being courageous
Correct.
and brave. I love that.
Yeah,
It's so true. It is so
very
true.
true.
And the thing too, Shoko, that I love that you brought this up because yeah, we do exercises in the group, just like you do with your groups. We do these exercises. They have no real world consequences, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
then but then I always ask the question, how is this though applicable in real world situations? And yeah, some real world situations are going to be a little bit more high stakes.
Mm-hmm.
So what have you been doing to practice so that when you get to that more high stakes situation, you can you can be more present?
Ah, so that's the word. The so
Hmm.
critical. I think a couple of weeks ago, I might put that in LinkedIn post that it's good that you practice, because practice give you confidence.
Hmm.
But and often people want it to be perfect,
Hmm.
and being perfect, you really focusing in so your attention yourself,
Yeah.
not your audience,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
that's really losing your being presence,
Yeah.
because you started thinking about what's next, not in that moment. And I tell you, I learned. So I think I'm doing Japanese tea ceremony,
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And at the very beginning, I was horrible. so so tea ceremony, there's a procedures, right?
Hmm.
One
Hmm.
action at a time. So what I did, I remember I really memorized all the procedures. So I feel like, oh, I know exactly what's next, right? So doing that. But one day I doing this, I just, uh, using the whisk to
Hmm.
making green tea. And and then my teacher suddenly said, Shoko. I said, yes. What are you looking at? You are making tea using whisk. Your eyes should be into the tea ball, but your eyes went to the teapot because you're going to add more hot water. So you're already thinking next movement while you're doing something. And that's a moment to me like, holy moly. So that's why tea ceremony is such a practice for me
Yeah.
to really focusing on one thing at a time, always one thing at a time,
Hmm.
to be present. Does
That
that
is
make sense?
It makes perfect sense. Yes, it's being in the moment. It's also what I love about improv. That's also
Mm.
what I'm hearing you say too, is that and this is what a lot of people don't realize is that improv, yes, you're making things up on the spot, but you have a structure, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that you can create within that structure. Just like a Japanese tea ceremony has a structure, you have these sets of you have steps that you go in. And so the invitation to be fully present with each moment and not worry about the water that needs to be added as you're whisking the tea is such a beautiful metaphor for leadership
Mm-hmm.
too, about how can you be a more present leader, because I would imagine there's a lot of stillness, like it's almost like quiet
Mm.
leadership. Like you don't have to be, like you said at the beginning of this conversation, you had talked about the idea of a leader needs to be loud and charismatic and showing up in the room. But there's also a lot of power in leadership when someone can be still and present with you.
100%. 100% Meredith. And that's where that this improv and tea ceremony and the leadership, there's a lot of
Mhm.
commonality. And particularly nowadays, I notice, working with most of my clients high potential, high achievers.
Mhm.
They're really great people.
Mhm.
But at the same time, they're so busy,
Yeah.
you know. So they constantly have to think about what's next. What's next?
Yeah.
Just like, West Wing, remember that President Bartlett said, what's next?
Yeah.
But they're doing something and start thinking what's next. So I think this is why one of the elements I always ask my clients, let's pause.
Mhm. Mhm.
And you don't have to respond almost immediately when somebody said or asking you something.
It's so true. But especially in the American culture, I feel that we've been kind of taught to like, you need to know the answer. It's move, 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 forward, 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 forward. Uh, was it you, Shoko, who
Mm.
told me that a comparison with the pause culturally that Americans tend to like
Oh, yes.
a pause is 4 seconds in Japanese culture, it's like
Eight,
eight.
8 seconds.
I have told that. I have shared that with rooms that I have done facilitations in,
Uh-huh.
and people it's agonizing for people. Even the 4 seconds is agonizing for
Exactly.
people.
It seems eternal for you. But for the other side, often I think you appreciate that when you present anything,
Mhm.
you know the content, so it's like matter of fact. But the receiver side, it's a new information.
Yeah. Yeah.
So having a bit of pause is the time to really digest.
Mhm.
This is the we call it, give them space for yourself, but for the audience as well. I think for the leadership presence, it's really about not just showing up, proving yourself how well you know.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's more like how you generously, comfortably giving the other person the space so that they feel they are heard, they are listened, and they are understood. And that's the leader's presence. And
Mhm.
I think sometimes, probably for a second, might be a little bit of a tunnel moment for the people, but once you get used to it, it is not.
Yeah. I think I feel like I've heard, clients of mine say there's a fear
Mm.
of um taking up somebody else's time. So they're essentially you're imposing like you're projecting that that person needs you to rush through the information. You're making an assumption that that person thinks that you're wasting their time, where in fact what's happening is that person isn't able to receive what you're sharing with them because there's just so much information coming to them at one time. And so I love the practice of slowing it down, finishing complete sentences, breath, pause.
100%.
Yeah, it makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the things you said, full sentence. I, this is something that not a native English speaker, I was so self conscious about
Mm.
my accent, dictions, all kind of things. And then one day, I listened to Ariana Huffington talking to somebody. I think it's one with the podcast, I think. And she had a very strong Greek accent.
Mhm.
So when she first married to her husband, I forgot ex-husband by now,
Mhm. Mhm.
he gave her the birthday present of diction coach, Hollywood top diction coach session. So, he engaged that very expensive diction coach for I don't know how long. Then Ariana Huffington went through a couple of times, but she couldn't stand, she couldn't finish it. So she's wondering, then what should I do? I have such a strong accent, blah blah blah. And then she someday talked to Henry Kissinger, who also had a very strong German accent. Remember?
Mhm.
And he said, Ariana, do not worry about accent or diction. It is more important that you speak with the full sentence. Period.
Beautiful. I love it. No, it's true. It's just slowing down.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm,
And a long time ago, my first speech coach
mhm.
tape recorded my conference call with some senior executives in New York when I was in Tokyo. I was horrified because that executive speak very fast,
Mhm.
and I really tried keeping up with his speed, so that I'm almost like constantly talking, and that
Okay.
was so hard, horrible conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think this is really, I love that you brought this up too, because I would imagine that there are people watching who are similar. Maybe English isn't their first language. And they also have experienced some of the confidence issues and those dynamics that you're talking about right now. And so I appreciate you sharing your experience because it will inevitably help somebody else uh, feel more confident moving forward. And I do feel when you get into these situations, we are modeled and things all the time how we should be showing up. There's so much noise on social media. There's we go to conferences, we see how other people are doing things, and so there I feel whether it's conscious or not, we start to model what the other people are doing.
Mm.
We start to pick up on their behaviors, their mannerisms, the way they speak, and so forth. And where some energetic matching I feel is important to connect with somebody, it doesn't mean that you have to abandon what you know is going to be the most comfortable and the most effective way for you personally to communicate so that you can best serve that other person and best serve the audience. And so I really love what you just shared there because I feel like that's important for people to understand.
And I think that's going back to how you show up,
Yeah.
how you create your own voice.
Hmm. Yeah, it's your own unique voice. We don't want you to sound like everybody else. That's boring,
Exactly.
right?
And it's okay to be different, right?
We want you to bring your gorgeous, creative, amazing, wise self, right?
100%,
That's what we
100%.
want because you have a history that nobody else has.
And everybody bring the different color, so it's almost like mosaic to
Yes,
make it a beautiful picture in the room.
most definitely. Most
Mm,
definitely.
mm, mm.
Well, I will say what I admire about you, Shoko, is that I've known you now for 5 years, almost longer than 5,
Oh,
longer
wow.
than 5, because we met at the pit in 2018, as
That's
we said
true.
almost at the beginning.
True.
And what I love about you is that you are courageous and you are always looking for new opportunities and you yes and those opportunities. You did a speak event with me where you spoke, you did a 10-minute talk, you've applied for TED Talks. By the way, if you're a TED producer and you watch this, you need to book this woman because her tea ceremony and how she combines what she's learned as someone who's certified to deliver these tea ceremonies and her leadership skills is just stunning. It is stunning. the work that you've done there. And that you took an improv class, you yes anded to that, you show up to confidently speaking. You're always like, your curiosity leads you to these really beautiful spaces. And I admire that.
Thank you so much. And also, I think everything is serendipity, right?
Hmm.
And you have to trust that.
Yeah. You trust the process. If you keep showing up and keep being courageous, things are inevitably going to happen for you.
100%. It's just so rich,
Yeah, it
right?
really is.
It
It
is.
really
It
is.
is. It is.
Well, I'm curious, Shoko, before we
Mhm.
bow out for
Yes,
our talk today, first of all, how do you feel?
I'm good. It's
Good.
Friday.
It is Friday.
It's Friday,
It is Friday. For all, yes.
right? Right.
Thanks for doing a LinkedIn Live with me. I want to just explain to our audience too that I do these because this is another way that we get to practice our voice. This is another way we get to show up. And so thank you for showing up and using your voice in this live space, because for some people, I would imagine this isn't the easiest thing to do. So thank you. And also, I want to say thank you because you're coming to the retreat that
Yes.
Jamar Jones and I are co-hosting in Denver, Colorado next month. I'm very excited about that. And that's going to be another opportunity for you to be on a stage.
Yes. Everybody, if you have not looked at Meredith's retreat in Colorado, you should and you must sign up because it's going to be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And it's such a great opportunity to brush up your stage presence as well as presentation and just speaking up.
Yes. Yes, speaking up and out. And it'll also help you as a entrepreneur or as someone who's working in organizations to really polish up your personal brand so that you can
100%.
show up using your authentic voice and showing up, showing your what you value and who you are and how you want to be seen in the world. So I'm very excited about it. I'm excited you get to be there with us. And thank you. Joelle, hello. It's good to see you. Bring your uniqueness to the world. It
Yes,
wants
yes.
it. Joelle's also a Confidently Speaking member. And Joelle has been killing it this year, speaking and moving and grooving in the AWS Amazon space and also other spaces. So bravo.
Oh,
Bravo.
and also Melanie. I used to work with Melanie so closely. I put today's photo in the LinkedIn. So see that. And oh, Chizuko, she is my tea peer student. So we are going to have a tea ceremony soon. So, and she also doing tea ceremony at the church. I forgot what church, but she does those kind of things. Awesome.
I love it. I just had an idea. Okay, I'm putting it out in the universe. Are you ready, Shoko?
Yes.
I think we should put together a tea ceremony / improv workshop.
100%. Here you
Done.
go.
It's
Yes,
done.
done.
It's
Five,
done. High five.
five.
Boom.
Boom,
Right.
boom.
Awesome.
Okay. So
This
this
was
is
fun. Thank you.
mic drop.
Mic drop. I love it. All
Okay.
right. You are incredible. Thank you for
You
being here
too.
with me today.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone who was watching and supporting us. And I'm now going to end this stream, and we will be back next week.